Think about that when that first started in '66. Um, Nothing had been quite like that before in terms of attitude over the stories they were telling. Yeah, there had been spaceship sagas, there had been movies like Forbidden Planet. In the 30s, there were things like Flash Gordon. But Star Trek had a point of view that everybody was equal and they would try to find the good in anything. There's an episode called Devil in the Dark where people think that this lava monster that looks a bit like a fried egg is going around killing everybody because it is a savage animal. By the time the story ends, Captain Kirk has found out that it's only trying to protect its babies. So do you see what I mean? Even though it's a rock monster that's killing everybody, there's a reason.
Yeah, it's like
It's a mother.
yeah, it's like with I'll use Doctor Who as an example again. When you take a character like the Doctor, usually the story isn't focused on him.
No.
Because he is meant to insert himself into a story that's already going on.
Doctor Who has a 3-phase structure. There is a problem underway, the Doctor arrives. The second bit is the Doctor comes to terms with the situation and decides that something has to be done. The third part is always the deconstruction, which is he finds the solution or projects that understanding onto people so they are enabled to be part of that resolution.
Yeah, and you have the typical Doctor Who episode structure, and then you have episodes that actually focus on the Doctor. Like, I was gonna use Power of the Doctor as an example, but I think a better example is Stephen Moffat's two stories, Heaven Sent and Hell Bent.
That's an emotional construct. That is, Hellbent is how far will he go to save the life of a companion. You've got that bit where the Doctor is talking to Clara, and I'm paraphrasing, but she says, how long were you trying to break that wall? A few years? No. 4 billion years.
Yeah, it's like, especially in this specific circumstance where the Doctor actually has the ability to help his companion, and he's also been trapped in his confession dial for like an unimaginably long time. So it's like even the Doctor isn't like averse to flaws. He also isn't immune to like reactions that we would have.
Well, the problem I've got with Hellbent and Heaven Sent is Hellbent's terrific, but Heaven Sent falls apart because the resolution, oh, it's Rassilon, I'm on Gallifrey, stops midway through the episode, and after that it's all, oh, here's Clara, here's me, and getting to the point where they get their own TARDIS and off they go.
Yeah, it's like I've told people who've like not liked the story that I'm never trying to change them, but but I always tell them is that like it's a story that could have benefited from multiple parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could have been a whole season, to be honest, that structure. You could have spanned it out. So something is happening. And the quest for the Doctor to save Clara, if they had any guts, they'd have killed her in the first episode.
Yeah, it's like most of Stephen Moffat's bad stories, or like not well received stories in my head, could have been way better if they took the concept and stretched it out, or like at the very least did it like the classic series did with.
Well, look at it like this. That series structure, you've got the Magician's Apprentice and the Witch's Familiar at the beginning.
Yeah.
Leave that alone. That's the audience grab. It's like, here's Davros, here's the Daleks, big adventure, all look missing. If you transposed Face of the Raven to episode 3, and Clara's dead, and the rest of the series, it has the underlying story of the Doctor trying to find a way to save her. Hell Bent should have been the finale. That should have been the last episode, and the ending should have been, he saved her. That would have worked far better, because Face of the Raven is cripplingly undervalued. Because in the next episode, she's back.
Yeah.
If they'd have left it 8 episodes of her not there, it would have worked far better. I'm not undervaluing Hell Bent, but it was too convenient to have the resolution that close. If they'd have had the guts to start it with that and end it a lot later, it would have worked so much better.
And yeah, because Face the Raven and Heaven Sent are like, Face the Raven is an episode focusing on. It's an episode that you wouldn't expect to end so badly.
No.
Yeah, because it's a very typical Doctor Who story. And then the ending of it, and then the introduction to Heaven Sent is like, wow, I did not expect this at all.
No. And that journey, imagine it was a quest, and at the end of Face the Raven, the Doctor actually goes off, and he doesn't know where he's going to land. And he's got that time bomb, no TARDIS. And he's thrown all over the place. Where does he end up? And by the end of it, the revelation is he's trapped.
Yeah, it's like, I think, if Face the Raven was the third episode, and Heaven Sent was somewhere a bit earlier, then it definitely could have been better, because then the Doctor has like couple episodes to sort out like what's going on in Gallifrey, and then he can go on to like his primary objective.
I think the point of that was he found Gallifrey, and he wanted revenge. Because the first thing he does is set up encampment with the Shebagans, the outliers of Gallifrey, and they come pointing their gunships at him.
Yeah.
And he is so angry by that point when he finds out what's happened. You should have built it up over the entire series.
It's, yeah,
It
like...
doesn't feel justified.
Yeah, it's like, I always like to watch Hellbent, because in my eyes, I just enjoy it, but from a writer's perspective, I always, when I'm watching, I'm always like, oh, this could have been done way better but like, it's like when, I'm thinking of my original point here. What I was gonna say is that it's a deconstruction of both. It's a deconstruction of the main hero, the Doctor, because this isn't the Doctor going against anything he said or done before.
Well, it's the hero as the antagonist rather than the protagonist.
Yeah, it's like you want to side with the Doctor.
Yeah, exactly. So he in the audience's mind has justification. But what I'm saying is that justification could have been built up across many episodes.
Yeah, and I think that what Hellbent does really good is that it deconstructs the character of the Doctor, and it doesn't deconstruct it like The Boys deconstruct superheroes, but it deconstructs a character that's been going on for, at that point, over 50 years.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. And then when the resolution comes, it's like, well, where does the Doctor go from this?
Well, yes, and I don't think they found a way out of that. Because what was the next episode? I think it's Last Christmas.
The next episode was
No, I'm wrong. That was the previous one. It was
the Husbands of River Song.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Clara's gone. The whole series was a mess because Jenna was meant to leave in Last Christmas, and while they were making it, she decided she wanted to stay. They had a new companion lined up in the episode. I can't remember the character's name, but she was played by Faye Marzu. She was ready to be the next companion. And because Jenna changed her mind, everything got rewritten. It was chaos.
Yeah, it's like... I think that Series 9 on its own is good, but it was a structural disaster.
Oh yeah, and that's why they had to have a soft reboot with Series 10. There was a long gap between those seasons. And that's why when it came back, you've got the Doctor teaching at a university. What the hell was that about?
It's like... I think Series 10 was good because Moffat got himself together, was able to like...
To an extent, yeah. I'm talking about Bill's season.
Yeah.
The ending of that, I think, was a bit more powerful than Hell Bent, the whole thing of her becoming a Cyberman. But they did exactly the point I'm making with Jenna. They killed Bill. Literally, they blew a hole in her. And she was dead. She was just being kept there by life support. So the inevitability of her becoming a Cyberman was quite clear. And it was just a clever trick that the director came up with to show Bill without the cyber outing, if you like.
Yeah, it's like... when Series 10 came out, like I always hear mixed opinions about Series 10. Like some people think it was really good. Some people didn't like Bill, which like I can get, but then like in my eyes, Series 10 is like probably is like Moffat at his best, because he was able to get himself together and write a story that I think he actually put a lot of passion into.
But do you think the trilogy with the monks worked? Because people hate them.
I think like...
Pyramid at the End of the World is derided.
I think that... well, I haven't watched it completely. I haven't actually gone to it myself yet.
Okay.
But what I've heard of and what I've seen is like... It could have been done way better, but it was also like... It could have been a season on its own as well.
Yeah, it's like a mini-series in the middle of a season because they make the Doctor blind. So how is the Doctor going to cope being blind?
It's it's like obviously like I think like something I've noticed. I always have lower standards than other people who review this stuff because I'm usually like. I usually watch it first just to enjoy it, and then when I want to explain it to my friends, I go back and I'm like, okay, this is what I think of it, this is what I think of that. So then in my head, I'm still enjoying it myself, but I'm giving people who I'm recommending it to an objective view.
Oh, sure, but as that series was meant to be a reboot of a reboot, and introduce new audiences, I don't think it worked. The pilot episode really didn't do anything. There wasn't anything spectacular in there.
Yeah.
And did you not find the fact that Moffat felt he had to have Bill go, oh, by the way, I'm gay, all the way through the series, every episode, really began to get a bit annoying.
I think that like... having a character that's gay, having them state they're gay is like, if you have to state they're gay.
That's lazy writing if it's not apparent through the story and the actions.
Yeah, it's like
You can have it once in episode 1, but then people who follow it are going to remember.
yeah, and like I think that just having Bill say she's interested in a girl, like just like as an offhand sentence, that would have been
That's
good enough. Yeah. That is enough because the audience is like, oh, that's what we're doing, and then they don't question it any further. Because a good example I received from someone else was that there was an episode of Arthur, a cartoon I've never watched but I've heard about, and the entire episode is about a teacher that's getting married, I think, and then it's not even, and then like they think that this other teacher that's talking to them and berating them is like the wife, or is like the wife or something. And then at the end, when they try to break up the marriage because they think it's going to be a toxic one, it's revealed that no, he isn't marrying the other teacher. That other teacher is his sister, and he's marrying a guy. They don't even reveal he's gay. They just like show that it's another person, and then they just go along with it.
Do you want to stop recording?
Yeah.
Bless him.